To what extent has food globalization impacted countries with varying economic development? Hello and welcome. We are Team Vinson, and today we aim to answer that question.
Globalization, in the context of our research, is the increasing imports and exports of food over national borders. This relationship between food and globalization has amplified over time due to infrastructure extension of transport links through road and railways.
The objective of our research is to uncover the extent of impact food globalization has had on the environment and society within countries. Our research is important because it will reveal the extent of impact food globalization has had and will highlight the impacts which are the most severe.
This will help aid us in mitigating and potentially preventing the negative impacts food globalization has. For example, in the environment, between 2015 and 2020, the rate of deforestation was estimated 10 million hectares per year globally, and 80% of this was a result of agricultural production. Furthermore, the increase in carbon emissions can contribute to the enhanced greenhouse effect. Flying in food typically creates around 10 times more carbon emissions than road transport, and 50 times more than shipping.
There are also impacts on society, such as place identity loss due to chain stores. Similar supermarkets and restaurants result in clone towns. An example of this would be Japan and China, who pride themselves in traditional Oriental food. However, due to food globalization, now have over 5,700 McDonald's combined. Also, increased interdependence among countries consequently leads to a decay in place identity and loss of individual culture developing in non-places.
However, the impacts of food globalization aren't all negative. Food globalization encourages interconnectivity across borders, encourages inclusion of non-locals and a variety of cultures. Also, it can provide jobs and increase the economy by encouraging international trade. We'll now pass over to Megan, who will explain how we collected the data to carry out our investigation. Take it away, Megan.
Thank you, Tony and Soph. I will now go on to talk about the methods used and how our data collection was conducted. Firstly, starting with our primary data, the data collection for the food from around the world involved us going into multiple food supermarkets and randomly selecting food from the fresh fruit, veg and meat aisles. This included things like peppers, tomatoes, lettuce, salad, onions and even meats like lamb. Then after this we were able to locate where the food had originally been sourced from, as on the food packaging or even on the shelf it tells you where it has come from. And there'll be no surprise to know that our food has really travelled thousands of miles to end up on our plates. And then for the secondary data to accompany this, we had to look through academic articles that were able to give us information from where our food had been imported from, either an LIC or a HIC. Further on, whilst I was in Waitrose, I was able to gain access to an interview with a partner there, Ben, from the meat, fish and cheese counters. Ben was able to tell me where the food had come from, and on the counters is a real continental mix-up. Food from around the world, including Sri Lanka, Germany, Italy and Norway. I'll now let Ben explain more.
Morning, I'm Ben from Waitrose in Woodley. I'm going to talk to you today about where our fish is from and how Waitrose looks after its sustainability and monitors its fishing practices. So we have lots of different varieties of fish on the counter today, lots of different countries. So we have cod and haddock that mainly are fished up by off the Iceland coast. We have wild Alaskan Scottish sockeye, wild Alaskan sockeye salmon, not Scottish, I apologise. We have Cornish hake, we have Greek sea bass fillets, we have Scottish salmon fillets, which are from Waitrose's own salmon farms. We have Sri Lankan tuna, we have Cornish scallops, we have Cornish mackerel, and then moving along we have our organic salmon, which is from the farms on the Orkney Isles. Most of our fish is looked after by a monetary organisation called MSC, which is the Marine Stewardship Council. They monitor our fishing practices and the sustainability and stocks of the fish in the sea. Hello, Ben from Waitrose Woodley again. I'm going to talk to you about cheese now. So our cheeses are from all over the world. We also have a good selection of regional cheeses. We've got Candazzola and Montegola Fino, both from Germany. We have Crockford Bishop Stilton from the UK. We've got Manchego cheese, which is a sheep milk cheese from Spain. Raclette from Switzerland. Jarlsberg from Norway, sorry. Old Amsterdam cheese from Holland. And we have Red Storm, which is made in Wales. And then we have lots of regional cheeses. So we have Cornish ports here. We've got a Black Bomber mature cheddar, which is a Welsh cheese. We've got Wensleydale with cranberries, which is another regional variety. And then we have got Brie from France, Cornish yard. So as you can see, we've got quite a large, varied selection from all over the world and regions of the UK.
As you can see, this part of our primary data was very valuable to understand where shops had imported their food from and whether or not it had been sustainably sourced or not. And now, moving on to our last part of the primary data collection, we conducted a random sampling online questionnaire to gain an understanding of how far the average person's food travels and to see whether globalization has impacted our food or not. Our plate is now filled with meats from New Zealand, vegetables from Spain, fruit from Morocco, and pastas from Italy. Thank you very much. That was my part there on the methods section, and now I'll pass you back.
My name is Ria and I'm here to analyse the collected data. As you can see, table 1 is the data collected by my colleagues from the supermarket Waitrose. It illustrates the origin country of the products that have been selected, as well as whether the country is a HIC or an LIC. There are a total of 24 different countries. Out of the 24 countries, 11 are classified as high income countries, while the remaining 13 are classified as low income countries. Beef, pork and parsnip are the only products that are solely sourced from the UK, while products such as lamb, carrots, lettuce and plain flour are sourced from areas in the UK as well as imported to supplement demand. For example, while carrots are grown within the UK most of the time, they are imported to the UK due to there being a large demand. The rest of the products are sourced from other countries. The reason for this is that due to the UK's current climate being inhospitable to produce said products on a meaningful scale and would just be cost effective to just trade them. For example, the sweet potato, which is imported from the USA, does well and grows in the subtropical climate. This is not naturally occurring in the UK and could only be grown in greenhouses, polytunnels or under closures. From the table, it shows that the UK sources 66.67% of the products from another country, 20.83% of the products are sourced from the UK in addition to in any other country, and only 12.5% of the products originate from the UK. Next is figures 1 to 8. Figures 1 to 8 are the answers we collected from our online questionnaire. There is a total of 137 people that has participated in our questionnaire. Figures 1 to 3 are demographic questions. Figure 1 displays the ethnicity of the people who have taken this questionnaire. The largest ethnic group appears to be white or white British. This group makes up 28.47% of the total participants. This is followed both by the ethnic group black and black British, and those that would prefer not to say, both having 17.52% of the total participants. The group other has the lowest number of participants, with only having 2.19% or 3 participants. Figure 2 illustrates the age of the participants, with a majority of 44.53% being aged from 18 to 24, followed by the age group 25 to 34, which has a 27.74% of the total participants. The rest make up 27.74% of the participants. This means that 99 young adults made up 72.26% of the total participants. Figure 3 is the final demographic question and displays gender, the majority being 32.85% of the participants are female. This is followed by the category Prefer Not to Say, which has a total of 31.39% of the participants. 23.36% make up males, while the remaining 12.41% make up the other. Figure 4 is the answer to the question, to what extent do you identify with the food available from supermarkets? This is a rating scale question from 1 to 5, with 1 signifying that they do not identify with the supermarket, while 5 signifies that they strongly identify with the supermarket. A majority of the people put down 2, which meant that they don't really identify. This is then followed by a 3, which has a 34.31% total, meaning that they hold no strong opinion on the matter. This is then followed by a 5, which is 19.71%, then a 4, and finally a 1. This graph tells us that a majority of people do not believe that the supermarket's available food for purchase lines up with their identity or simply do not care. The next graph, figure 5, answers a similar question used in figure 4, with that being, to what extent do you identify with the food available from your restaurants? This question uses the same rating scale as figure 4. The largest category is 2, with an outstanding 48.91%. This is then followed by 24.09, which is category 3, and 16.06, category 1. Similarly, category 2 is the largest, then followed by 3, telling us that, much like with supermarkets, food available at restaurants do not line up with their identity, or they just don't care. Figure 6 is the result of a question, I feel like the restaurants in my area are a part of my identity. To what extent do you agree with this statement? There are 5 options ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. This graph displays that 29.2 strongly agree with this statement, followed by 21.17 of the participants that strongly disagree with the statement. Where these two extremes make up almost half of the total participants. This is then followed by 19.71% of the participants remaining neutral. Overall, it seems that 43% of the people agree with the statement, meaning that their area contains restaurants that are tailored to their identity, while the rest either don't have a strong opinion or the areas in their area are not a part of their identity. Figure 7's question is similar to Figure 6, but instead of restaurants, asks for your opinions on supermarkets. It uses the same scale, with it being from strongly disagree to strongly agree. The leading category, strongly agree, with 29.2% of the total participants, is then followed by strongly disagree with 21.17% of the participants. 19.71% of the participants did not have a strong opinion and was neutral. Figure 8 displays the results from the question, I enjoy eating food from the supermarket more than in any other country. To what extent do you agree? Differing from figures 6 and 7, this graph shows that the largest category is agree, with 29.2% of the total participants, then followed by strongly agree with a percentage of 24.82. Then the next category is neutral, as a percentage of 16.79. This graph illustrates that people largely agree with the statement, with only 29.2% disagreeing. The rest is of course neutral.
To conclude, our investigation shows that the majority of food in the UK is sourced from other countries with high income as well as low income. Although it has brought us food from other cultures and helped the economy grow in less developed countries, food production and transportation around the world can also have significant negative impacts on the environment, replacing hectares of forest land with crops for food production and contributing to carbon emissions by transporting it overseas. Some societies also have to suffer by losing their cultural identity, being oversaturated with food from other nations. My name is Edward, that was Team Vinson, and thanks for watching.
Okay, is that a new match?
Can you read it all the way to the end?
Like the whole, my
Yeah.
first line.
No, the whole of everything. Oh wait, I'm at the bottom.
Hello and welcome. We are Team Vinson, reporting live, and today we aim to answer that question. To what extent has food globalization impacted countries?